we really think, actually, you know what? This is a good one. If you've made it this far in, because, oh my God, we're so far in. But if you've made it this far in, let me know. Do you think that going complete edges of the spectrum, meaning going from complete aggro to promoting full fatigue, do you think that that actually balances out? So headed into today's Banned and Restricted, all eyes were really on Blitz. Classic Constructed had already seen changes pre-release, and with a wide meta and Viscerai's recent ascension, let's be honest, I don't think anybody really expected anything. But with no changes to the Blitz format on the January announcement and Skirmish now on the horizon, it was a near certainty we'd see something, and of course, smart money was on Needle. And that is what we saw, plus a whole bunch more. Today's changes are actually a pretty massive shakeup to more than just Blitz. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, my flesh and blood friends. Welcome back to the channel, and thanks for tuning in here. And first off, happy Mardi Gras, or I suppose Ash Wednesday, depending on where you are at the time you're listening to this. For most of you, it'll be Ash Wednesday at that point. I also, fun fact, I had my beads ready to go. I've got my Mardi Gras shirt on. But the beads are just too heavy to do this. So anyway, let's move in, because today I want to talk yesterday's, depending on when you're listening to this, Banned and Restricted announcement. This is a huge, massive shakeup. I also want to preempt this with, this is coming out on Wednesday, which is normally our commoner format day, which no one thought was going to, I certainly didn't think it was going to be relevant, but it's very relevant. So we're kicking, the video that was originally scheduled for tomorrow is being kicked to next week. And on Thursday will be this week's commoner format video, because, don't worry, we'll get to it. That's a spicy meatball or whatever the kids say. I'm pretty sure kids don't say that. So, okay, let's get into this. I do want to focus in mostly on Blitz with Skirmish season coming, because like I said, we need to talk commoner tomorrow, but this is a big freaking deal. There's a lot to unpack here. So, again, I'm not going to read this line for line. You all know that I respect your intelligence, and that's just not the way I like to do things. CC, no changes, done. Oh, also another fun fact, which is kind of fun. This has the date of March 5th on it, which it was March 4th. But so last night late, I was like, about 4 p.m. yesterday on March 3rd for me, I was like, because that's usually when New Zealand time stuff comes out. I'm like, where's this thing? Why is this not out yet? Checking before bedtime even, ready to shoot the video. And it hadn't been out yet. And then I saw one small thing in the January thing that said US time. So I think we know which part of the globe Brian Gottlieb is in right now. He's probably in the US would be my guess. But for all of you Brian Gottlieb stalkers out there. So either way, didn't matter. Came out today. Awesome. CC, no changes. So Blitz, this is very interesting. So Traverse is banned. Zephyr Needle is banned. That's not a shocker. And then Crown of Seeds is unbanned. There's a couple things on here I was hoping that would be, but I'm not surprised aren't. So let's start with the easy one, which is Zephyr Needle. I don't think anybody's surprised on that. Needle's Zen was easily the best in the format by a little bit over Blaze, which is a little bit over like Verdance, which is a little bit over some other people. Okay, so that's fine. Now, what's interesting about the Zen discussion, I mean, let's back up and let's talk Needle. So I think the only people out there who don't agree with the Zephyr Needle ban are like the 3 or 4 people whom every time I talk about how good Benji actually is, just hate on me like crazy, right? Benji's good. The only reason he's not good is the only reason he's not better is because Zen is a thing, right? And Zephyr Needle, yes, they didn't want it to go away because they wanted Benji to quote unquote have his time in the sun. And I get it, and that's fine. But like the way that Zen can just abuse Needle is gross. And what's interesting about the Zen decks is 2 of the things that we're going to talk about next. So Zen used to run, in both the previous and current context, used to run 12 Petal and of course Traverse, right? When he was trying to, in his original versions, when he got his LL the first time. That's what he was running. Now, most folks have skewed from Petal to bloodstained. Like I always forget stained or torn, but you get it. Bloodstained Vest. That is a card that I'm jumping ahead. This card I think needs to go away in Blitz very much. In a format where a lot of times folks debate if you can run Tunic or not, you have Bloodstained Vest, which can just, I mean, come on, right? Like the card, I get it, it's brand new. And we don't ever want to ban a new card. It needs to go. So that's kind of there on the Zen thing, and I know it's a bit of an aside, but to the top one, Traverse the Universe, I'd actually seen a fair number of Zen decks actually skewing to Mask of Momentum already in Blitz. Because, so, and as very, very, very correctly said in this article, right, they say somewhere in here, let's see if I can find it, that anyway, in here they say that, yeah, has a higher density of Transcend cards in a 40 card deck, which is absolutely true. But if they don't get it, I mean, those are basically the times that, like, when I won my skirmish on Briar, I had to fight through several Zens through that. And the times where it worked out was when they couldn't transcend early. I mean, that's basically the thing. So, you know, I mean, it's true. What he's saying is absolutely true. But I've actually seen folks skewing into Mask of Momentum because with the daggers, and this goes back to my point with Benji, with the daggers, it becomes basically impossible to keep them off Mask. Not impossible, but do you really want to let Zen go in then to my point, if he doesn't draw what he needs to do the thing and just pop off on you, and you block out, 3 to 4 of your cards, guess what? He gets to draw again, which gives him a better chance of getting what he needs to beat you, right? So I had seen a fair number of people kind of to the counterpoint there go to Mask of Momentum. So I don't actually think Traverse leaving is that big of a deal for Zen. I do think Needle leaving is a big deal for Zen. And it's a big deal for Benji too. No one's ignoring that, right? But I don't think it hurts. I don't think it hurts Benji as much as it hurts Zen, because Benji relies on other things. So anyway, I know you out there. You'll give me the comments, and that's cool. I respect that. So let's move into the next one, which is Crown of Seeds, which I know I spent a bunch of time talking Needle and Traverse. But Crown of Seeds is kind of a big deal. I'm actually really scared of this with CYB. Because remember, you don't have the CYB. Granted, you only have 2 copies in Blitz. We get it. But you have the full arc of CYB that's legal in Blitz. I mean, they basically acknowledge that the reason they're doing this is to try and make Terra work. Terra and Yoji had already been running CYB. And CYB itself is not a problem statement. It just creates a lot of bad experiences. From a pure mechanics standpoint, CYB is not a problem. But from a leaving the event feeling like you had a good time, it is a problem. And I feel like Crown of Seeds with that is a big deal. Now, Kevin, shout out to Kevin. He pinged me shortly after, and there was a discussion on our Discord as well about will Verdance use Crown of Seeds? I don't think Verdance will use Crown of Seeds because, and maybe Florian, maybe not, but early on, they really want to use 2 cards to block with so that they can go in the drink so they can get decomposed, right? And obviously with Crown, you're generally putting 1 in and trying to fatigue. So if you're on Moon Verdance, you need cards to do that. I don't think Verdance will end up playing this. I think the person who ends up betting from this is probably just Terra overall. And I think that you're going to go, I think it's completely 2 ends of the spectrum. You're either going to have your aggro, is very favored in the format right now. No one's ignoring that. Or you're going to have just the tankiest McTankerson. And two very, very important sides of the spectrum. That said, there are several mid-range decks that, actually, I just mentioned them, Florian and Verdance, that actually prey. If they can, start doing, Pile of Rune Chance Florian or, Surgent combo Verdance, they probably don't mind if you want to take the game long. So that's very interesting. it's going to be a very interesting skirmish season. I've got a couple guesses where I think things go, but it's still so skewed on where things were. And now that we have the fatigue thing out there, like, I don't know how Dorinthea does anything right now. She can't out aggro. She's not going to be able to out react someone who wants to react so that they can just swing hammer with a might token all day. And I think a lot of other heroes kind of fall in that range. Like, I think, ironically, I know Brian loves his assassins, but ironically, I think the assassins might not be as good as they were before into the aggro. They were pretty good in the aggro meta if they could disrupt and take control. But now that they might run into just Tanky McTankerson, I don't know. We will have to see. This is all brand new. All right, let's go talk about Living Legend. Disclaimer, I don't play Living Legend. Electromagnetic Somersault restricted. It makes a lot of sense, actually. I mean, we saw that. I actually saw Mara Ferris post on the Twitters about, like, I hope that Felling the Crown goes away so that I don't have to play nothing but Starvo in LL, play against nothing but Starvo in LL. I thought that was actually pretty apt. But, Somersault makes sense from the recycling standpoint. Then we get into Commoner, and have I got thoughts about this, but I will try not to be here for the next 45 minutes. So this is not a shakeup. They dropped an A-bomb into this format, and some of it is really cool. Some of it is WTF, bro. But I think it's all good. I mean, maybe not all good, but, like, I'm okay with it. Like, sure, why the hell not, right? So Rosetta Thorn is banned. This is actually what I thought was going to happen headed into calling Port. I forget the exact date. It was like an early November one. But this is what I thought was going to happen headed into calling Portal, and they ended up doing the Aether Ironweave ban, which I thought was very interesting. And by interesting, when I say interesting, that usually implies negative connotations, and that's not how it's meant in this case. Rosetta Thorn would have probably been the easy windmill slam back then. And doing Aether Ironweave really shifted things with like Runehold Release or Bodus or whatever it is, right? Or both. And I shot a video saying how, it changed things that might actually hurt them, might have actually helped them from a certain point of view. And so I think seeing Rosetta Thorn go is good. It stinks a little bit from Briar, but you also have to keep in context of what they're doing on the bottom, which is unbanning Ball Lightning. Whoa. This was my WTF moment. I think in the Discord, I'm not going to go pull it because it doesn't matter, but I was like, WTF, Ball Lightning unbanned? But then my theory crafting brain, and let's just say I wasn't super focused in the meeting I was in when this was dropped, because I was like, oh my God, I can play Lexi. Oh my God, I can play Aurora. Oh my God, Briar. And so this one's going to be, and also Acilio. And of course, what did I do last night right here against this camera? I finished off my Acilio Commoner deck. So that's wrong now. So I got to go, figure out what to do with that. Unfortunately, it's already posted, but there you go. We'll just go swap in some Ball Lightnings on Acilio Commoner. Also, it used Waning Moon as well, so got that going for me. Now, yeah. The Ball Lightning thing, we'll talk about the possibilities of that tomorrow in terms of, like, going deep dive on that. But this is big. Like, the Ball Lightning thing is big. Like, I mean, I think Aurora, y'all know I love Aurora. She's my new girl, so we'll see. Waning Moon. Wow. I don't mind it at all, but wow. I didn't see that coming. Did not see that coming. The implications of this are pretty huge. From an Icelander standpoint, I mean, there's a lot of arguments that, like... So I assume Cash still works there. I actually don't know that to be true, but I assume that's the case, and I think he's the still one writing these articles. Super into Commoner. I assume they asked him, like, hey, what do you think? Because the Rosetta Thorn one seems to make complete sense. The Waning Moon thing, I'm actually fine with, but that's a freaking, dynamite into the pool or whatever metaphor you want to use. Kano had been doing well. Icelander, obviously, is Icelander for like the last 2 years. This is a big one. This is a big one. And then Zephyr Needle's Band, I just makes sense. I mean, that one makes complete sense. Actually, it would have been interesting. I do have to say, it would have been interesting with the retrieve cards to see how that played out in Commoner. You know, I mean, it's been out for what, a month at this point. We haven't even had a Commoner crawl. Ironically, our Commoner crawl, our first Commoner crawl of the season is this weekend, the 9th, which you'll get to play on all these new rules, which is great that like nobody lost effort. But we never did get to see how retrieve really worked with Needle within Ira or Benji specifically, who I believe to be the best positioned ones within the Commoner format also. So that's very interesting. I mean, it's not interesting in the positive sense in that case. It is what it is, because we never got to see within my community. But the Waning Moon thing is pretty massive. Ball Lightning, I betcha. And again, to be clear, we don't address Commoner stuff in that much frequency. And by we, I mean as a community, they being LSS. We don't see Commoner stuff all that often. I wouldn't be surprised if Ball Lightning explodes on us, but maybe not. It'll be fun to see where this goes. I do expect this weekend to see a lot of Ball Lightning, and by that I mean at Commoner Crawl. And y'all know I always roll up the decks and all that good stuff, so we'll do that. Hopefully, I won't be there, so I'm depending on others to get the decks for me. Either way, I'll get those rolled up. So, in recap, I actually want to go back to Blitz and just kind of give final thoughts on Blitz, because that's really where my head is at. You all know I love Blitz, and well, we got skirmish season coming up, and I don't know that this actually hurts Zen all that much. I get it. But like I said, I had already seen decks that were skewing away from not just his chest, but his head as well. Crown of Seeds, I think. I do want to say, I am less inclined to live stream my skirmish now, because I think I don't want to have Terras get on stream and go to time. But I get it. They're trying to slow it down. Do we really think... Actually, you know what? This is a good one. If you've made it this far in, because, oh my God, we're so far in. But if you've made it this far in, let me know. Do you think that going complete edges of the spectrum, meaning going from complete aggro to promoting full fatigue, do you think that actually balances out? Because I don't. But let me know what you think, right? Again, it appeals to more people, but it still feels that mid-range gets that pinch and can't do either. I don't know. I don't think fixing fast with going super slow is actually the right answer. But let me know what you think. I appreciate you all. And go Commando.